meekness is actually power under control. So when you have so much power and you are able to put it under control and not arrogantly use it, that is meekness.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. With me today, I have the Adebiyis, and we will be talking about the fruit of gentleness, which is one of the fruit of the spirit together. It's good to have you both here with me today.
Thank you for having us.
Welcome.
Thank you. I
By the way, Mr. Adebiyi and I, we used to be in the same company. We were both in the same, branch, like for the army. That makes sense. Okay.
It was good.
Yes.
Good time.
Yes. So, and he's also a believer with his wife.
Yes, I'm a lover of God, a mother, a wife, and also a data analyst. So.
Great, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Good to have you both here.
Thank you.
All right. So the first question today would be, what do you understand by the fruit of gentleness?
Fruit of gentleness. According to the scriptures, the Bible talk about one of the beatitudes about meekness and how the meek will inherit the earth. It's better that the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. So we have a couple of places in the Bible that meekness is, used with gentleness, humility, and the meaning basically, for me, in my own understanding, is for the ability to allow others and curtail your own rights, then allow others. So that's meekness, allowing the will of others despite your own will or your own right. So that's meekness.
Wow, thank you so much for that. All right, so for the next question says,
yeah, before you go to the next question,
Okay.
I was going to say, I think it's also important to let people know what meekness is not, because oftentimes, I think prior to now, I always see meekness as being weak or being, allowing people to like trample on, taking shits. I mean, let's just be real here, especially in this work arena that we find ourselves in. Yes, it's not taking shit, it's about being bold, standing on the truth, what you putting your foot forward, standing, be courageous, being bold, it's not just putting yourself down, like it's not humility. You are not just putting yourself out there and just letting people talk to you anyhow. No, that's not being meekness. It's about being bold. It's about allowing the Spirit of God to be in you, to accepting the Spirit of God. It's just one of the ways of allowing the Spirit of God to direct you, to direct your path. I mean, that's it for now.
Can I add some?
yes, sure.
Since she mentioned that it's not humility, I think that meekness actually is power under control. That is, you have, just like Jesus Christ said, "Take my yoke, for I am meek and lowly in heart." Jesus can actually change the narrative of the day of the crucifixion,
Right.
But he decided not to, because he has a mission, he has a purpose to fulfill. So that is meekness in action. You have the power to control, even when they were mocking him and telling him, "Can't you tell your father to send the angels to destroy?" He was able to receive the will of the Father at that point, at the expense of his own rights, of his own body, of his own pain. So that meekness is actually power under control. So when you have so much power and you are able to put it under control and not arrogantly use it, that is meekness. And you said it's not humility. I actually agree with you that it's not humility, because humility is more of towards yourself. Humility is you have the power to do, or you have the ability to do something and you have a self-reflection. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't want to do this now, but it's towards yourself. But meekness is towards the others. It's towards the other. It's what other receives from you. You have to allow grace. Basically, that's meekness. If despite the fact that you can do and undo, but you allow grace, that's meekness.
Wow.
And that's gentleness.
Wow, thank you guys. That was so amazing. So now, this what you guys have said brings me back to the fruit of the spirit as a whole. So if you look in the Bible, it says, but the fruit of the spirit is love, joy, and all that till we got to like self-control. We have 9 of them. If you notice, the Bible used the word is instead of are. So that tells me, I mean, I'm just throwing it out to you guys that they're all in one. You cannot say you have one and not work on having the other, because a lot of people like, oh, I'm kind, but I'm not loving. Like, does that work? You're loving, but you're not gentle. Like, just like how you've explained what meekness is towards other people. So when you were talking about the fruit of the spirit, right? We all ought to work towards having both, cultivating it every day, right? Is it possible to say you are a Christian, you want to work on the fruit of the spirit and choose the ones you don't want to have in your life?
No, I don't think so. I think that's why the Bible said that you must diligently work out your salvation with fear and with trembling, because we don't have a perfect human being.
Yes.
There's no perfect. I think only God is perfect.
Yeah.
So every day you have to work towards, and God is one. So you cannot, it will be counterintuitive to say you have the Spirit of God and you are not meek, you're not joyful, you are not kind, you are not loving, all the temperament and all those things. So if you really have the Spirit of God, those things, all of them will be in you. So that's why the Bible says we should diligently work out our salvation, because you might see that you're lacking in certain areas and you want to improve on it. You want to be a better person.
Wow, thank you guys. That was really, really amazing. All right, so the next question is to discuss the role of gentleness in effective communication and building strong relationships. How, as we individuals, how do we develop these skills, and then to help us, since we've already said this, like towards other people. So how do we build it? How do we work on ourselves in a way to like build other stronger relationships with people?
I feel like I'm not the perfect.
Okay, I'll try to see.
I don't know. Let me give a scenario. What happened to me while growing up with my siblings? So back in Nigeria, I gave my fashion designer an outfit to make for me.
Yeah.
And my sister went there, collected the outfit, and wore it to a party. She did not tell me about it. And I went to the fashion designer. I'm like, okay, I'm here for my clothes. And she was like, oh, your sister came to collect. She said you needed it so urgent. Because I'm like, okay. And I got home and I wanted to wait. It was Thanksgiving Sunday the next day. And you guys, oh my God. So I was so mad, and my mom was like, oh my God. I was like, I'm going to, I thank God for, I would say that was kind of meekness. I was able to control myself. Otherwise, I would have destroyed a lot of things, and maybe our relationship today won't be what it is, because she has been really helpful to me. She's still in Nigeria, so she's been helpful taking care of things back home and all. So imagine if I had gone all out to imagine you having this idea of the clothes in your head, and, oh, I'm going to rock this dress to church, and your sister already rocked it, taking pictures. So I thank God for that. I was able to control myself. My mom was already coming me that, she's your sister, just become. I'm like, okay, you're a Christian, just let the Spirit of God, I was able to calm myself down, and my relationship with her today has been great. And I think it's also helping also in my relationship with my wonderful husband here. So, because it's really difficult he's a wonderful person, and his temperament is, but I've also learned to be meek in that, so that our relationship can also be great, So yeah, I think, I don't know, that's it for me.
I can add one or two things.
Sure.
Yeah. So relating with others, I think meekness is actually the ability to ask for help. Yeah. The Bible. I mean, I think in the Old Testament, the Hebrew word that was used most of the time for meekness is anab,
Okay.
which means someone that is um, broken or in pain or in yeah, something like that, and has that enough meekness to seek for help. And I think in the book of Psalm, it mentioned it in the book of Psalm somewhere, um, that God Himself expects us to be meek enough to call on Him, to be meek enough to call on Him, and not. I think so. Our fragility is actually expressed in our meekness, or our meekness is expressed in our fragility, such that when you are broken and you are down, you can call on God. So meekness is a way is knowing when to ask for help. Is being humble enough to call on God, and in our relationship with others too, it's being humble enough to know when to say sorry, to know when to say, "Oh, I need this help. I need this." And I'm trying to remember the psalm of the Bible, and that actually use that Hebrew word, and because the other one that we were talking about before is more like a prios, it's a Greek word. So is knowing when to call for help. So meek people are people that are fragile, not in the fragile way, like weak.
she said, it's not like you become a doormat that people can trample over.
No, but you recognize your limitations and you call on God, or you recognize your shortcomings and you say sorry, or you ask for help from your colleague at work, in school, wherever it is. You can ask for help. So that's meekness. So because arrogance is when you don't have something, but you decide to suffer in that your situation just because you don't want to. And this is very typical of people like us that come from Africa, especially not Lagosian but people that come from the hinterlands. Like we have a word, I'm sorry to use this Yoruba word, and kakake kuma jesese, shawada. Like instead of me asking for help, I would rather die. That's not meekness. So meekness is actually knowing when to, knowing your shortcomings and when to seek
for help. Thank you very much. I mean, with that, we can, easily build relationships. Knowing this would make people's marriage long lasting, because when you know you're wrong and you have that spirit to apologize, to say, it's not like you said, being a stiff neck that no, I'm not going to say sorry. We're just going to keep it this way. It breaks relationships. So I love the angle you both explained that from. Thank you so much. So, the last question would be, how can embracing meekness enhance our ability to understand and connect with others?
Do you want to go first?
You go first.
Okay. I mean, I think I've explained that a little bit in what I said earlier. So the Bible said the meek will inherit the earth,
right,
for a purpose. Because I have not seen people that are meek that people hate. I mean, just go look around you. The people that repel you are arrogant people, because arrogance is very obnoxious. But meekness and humility and gentleness, they are attractive to people. They are attractive, except you are not a regular human being. You are not a normal people that are meek and arrogant and gentle and humble are attractive. Naturally, they attract people. So it's easier to form a bond, to form a relationship, lasting one at that, with such people, rather than someone that is very self-assuming and arrogant. So I feel like meekness is one of the actual thing when the Beatitudes talk about there, we inherit the earth. I think Jesus Christ knew exactly what he was saying. Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say that meek people are also, they also serve. You know, you bring yourself down to serve people. It's not like you are doing it, you are trying to be like,
Nice.
Seen or rewarded.
Nice.
Yeah. So you are doing it, you are serving. Let's take Jesus, for example. He washed the feet of his disciples and he left the glory in heaven, came down. On the cross, he could have just said something and destroyed everywhere, cracked down everything, But because of the meekness in him, he took everything in. So I think we should just learn to serve. You are not trying to bring yourself down to let people talk to you anyhow. Just serve, do it selflessly, Yeah, I think that's one of the things we can do to people, serve others, be a solution provider. Just do it without expecting anything back. I think that's one of the ways we can also show meekness to people around us.
Wow, thank you very much. That reminds me of, shout out to Chief Robertson, our section leader back then. So he was, someone, let's just like bring it now to our day-to-day relationships, people that have helped us. So like we mentioned earlier, me and Mr. Adebiyi, we used to be in the same, Doctor, my bad. I apologize for that. You worked so hard to get that. My bad. So Chief Robertson, which when he was a sergeant, our section leader, we learned so many things from him. He also showed us an example of what meekness was. He served us, even though he was, superior. He didn't make us ever feel inferior, even though, it's just like so many things against Africans. We're Africans in the army with so many, in America. So it was quite like a lot of challenge, but he still pushed us forward, made us put our best foot forward. So it makes you a better person, because I feel like we need to consistently change who we are. Like, each year we grow, and with the kind of people we surround ourselves with, it helps us. So we've talked about Jesus. That's something that I know the person we both have in common, that was our section leader, that also, showed what meekness was and made us even become more better.
Yeah, I think Chief Robert is a servant leader.
Yeah.
And not just a servant leader. It's one of those things. I learned something from him, and that is, he's not seeing you as you are. He's seeing you as what you can be. So he's relating with you in the future,
yes,
even though you are now. When you can't do the run, and you say, you can do more than that. You can do 12.
Yeah, he will even go out with you there
and be on the run with you, on the track with you, on the push-ups with you, and even when you're doing your our
APFT,
whatever, he's always there to So it's that kind of servant leader person, and that is, if everybody can emulate that, I think the world will be a better place. Indeed.
True. Yes. So thank you very much, viewers. I hope you guys have been blessed by today's episode on the fruit of gentleness. And thank you once again for being a part of my channel. And it's such an amazing experience to have you both here. Thank you so much for taking your time. Do you have any advice, any take home to give our viewers?
Oh, thank you. I think for me, I would just say you are an example of someone that when you set your heart to something, you do it. So, and I think it's a lesson for all of us to, once you set your heart to it, once God put it in your heart, don't waste too much time on it. As you go on, it will be perfect. Don't wait for that perfect time or the perfect situation. Launch out, and I think God will always, back you up, and you will get better on the perfect day. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Mrs. Adebiyi, do you have anything to add?
First, I just want to thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for bringing it back to our consciousness, because it looks like we've taken a lot of things for granted, especially the fruit of the Spirit. So I want to say thank you. For bringing it back to our consciousness. So I believe the audience would have one or two things from this episode. So let's just always put the fruit of the Spirit in our consciousness, and let the Spirit of God direct us in everything we do.
Yay! Thank you, guys. Till we meet next time. Till then, stay blessed. Bye.
Bye.